Sometimes the damage is easy to understand. If your mother or father was an alcoholic, she or he has only one dominating relationship, and that is with alcohol. If either of their parents was depressed or suffered from a mental illness through no fault of their own, they would probably not have been able to parent you properly. Sometimes children are parented not for the needs and requirements of the child, but to meet the needs of the parent. This is subtle and might seem hard to recognize. Addictions rarely present alone. They tend to occur in combination with other addictions. This demonstrates how the origins of addiction do not always lie in the willfulness of others, but can emerge from situations completely out of anyone's control. We learn to regulate by being regulated, and we internalize this process. Children who have never learned this from their parents are the ones who turn to substances and behaviors to regulate their emotional life. Addiction is a learned activity for the management of a negative feeling state. The problem is that the solution is not without its concomitant problems. You feel shame and therefore you act out, but this causes you to feel more shame, and so an endless repetitious cycle is created. This pattern is never ending until you get so fed up with it that there is no alternative except to pursue recovery. However, the escape did nothing to actually change the underlying belief system that he might feel. He escaped it, but it would continue on his return from oblivion. This meant that the underlying causation was never cured. I can learn, and through learning, I can change. Addiction is often set up and driven by disconnectedness. The power of the immediate reward is so great that it obscures or obliterates the reality of the aftermath. You need to exit before the arousal chemistry can take you to the point of no return. Getting rid of the stash is difficult and painful. There is always a feeling of loss. It is almost a grieving process because you are saying goodbye to an old friend. Acting out has given you a lot of pleasure, so simply accept that doing this will cause you considerable grief. That will soon be replaced by the realization that you have done the right thing and that the double life is coming to an end. These kinds of phrases suggest that any experience of early shame has begun to manifest itself directly with the development of self-consciousness. He never saw a functional relationship and was never able to internalize the procedures or the structures of fulfilling and harmonious relationships. He once said to me that he never knew what to expect when he came home. This might well have set up an avoidance of the uncertain and a preference for routine and the expected. He was addicted to it. What we know does not govern us to the same extent as what we do not know. Anxiety is usually cognitively based on an overestimation of future dangers and an underestimation of one's personal strength and resilience. As we have seen, shame is not a feeling that they have made a mistake, but rather that you are a mistake. However, like almost any good thing, it comes with a bad side, and the bad side is its availability as an escape from life's problems, rather than a solution to these problems. If you have a recessive script for, let's say, redheads, it can be brought into the forefront of your template as it is reinforced through the power. Addictions not just sit side by side, they interact in different ways. The example at the end of the paragraph above suggests one way addictions interact, and that is known as fusion. Another combination is when one addiction pops up to replace another. Anyone who has tried to give up smoking will know this one. If you stop smoking, you start eating. One addiction, such as alcohol, can be used to excuse another. It can also be that one addiction is part of a ritual that leads to another. As you can see, addictions are a complex and interconnected phenomenon. I often think that gamblers are addicted to losing. Gambling is a highly exciting activity that brings with it a great deal more loss than gain.